I think God calls us to surrender everything to him. Mm-hmm. And I also believe that we're never going to reach perfection. And it's a daily thing, you know.
Sure, but it can be so hard to get that into your head. Yeah. Out of here. So it was like, I don't think I like working in the film industry. These people are mean.
You're like, well, it's not my fault. You're doing something you're not supposed to.
Exactly.
Like, so, what do you want me to do?
Right.
You need to keep your life in check and not bring it here at work.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I should have told her. You know, basically every other Sunday, my entire life, okay, now I'm really going to get serious about Christ and I'm going to dedicate my life to Christ. And then and then the next week I would still find out that I was a sinner. Like, well, I must have done it wrong. I guess, okay, this time I'm really going to meet it and I'm never going to do anything bad ever again.
You are now listening to Last Sunday Podcast.
What's up, guys? We are back with another episode. If you guys did not check out last episode, we had Matthew Badal on. It's actually a battle, right? I'm always Badal. Okay. This is like the fourth time I messed that last name up. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
If you guys did not check that episode out, go check it out. Matthew was just a great kid, you know, sharing the gospel, trying to get people from his school involved. And yeah, it's a great story. So go check that out.
Amazing.
Yeah.
He's so mature spiritually.
Yeah.
When I was his age, it was like...
I know, and he's only 16, so
right.
it's like, right. I mean, I'm like, wow, I can't believe you're doing these things.
Focused.
Yeah. So definitely check out that episode. But today we got John, and I'm gonna butcher your last name again, Sweeney. Sweeney.
Correct, sir.
Okay, there you go. It's an honor to have you on.
It's an honor to be here.
Yeah, and I appreciate you taking the time to come out and just have a conversation and talk with me. And it's always hard for me to get people on. So
really,
yeah.
Well, yeah, just have tenacity.
Yeah. I'm just gonna start forcing people to be on, and just like, you have to get on. They can only
say no.
Yeah. But who are you? Like, let's get into your story.
Who am I? Let's see. I'm from, I think is the hook that I'm from Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll go with that hook. That's the one hook. The other hook is I seem to have always been trying to go in two directions at once.
Okay.
So that's kind of a theme that I've seemed to be stuck with. But it's worked out.
So were you born in California or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what part?
I was born on Sunset Boulevard in Hollywood, California.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. You know, it's fun. I was gonna tell you real quick. It was funny because I told one of my buddies, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna have this guy. He's from California, and I don't know how old he is, but I think you're in the older side. And I was like, but he looks super young. And then he's like, that's how people in California are. So I don't know if that's like a stigma or.
I think it's because I don't have any kids.
Oh,
I just can like
stress free.
Less stress. We'll see how it is when I'm 90.
Yeah.
And wondering like, yeah, I need some help here. Oh, there's no one around.
Yeah.
But I kind of just, it is less stressful. And I think it would be more stressful, especially given that Nicole and I, we're like we have a very simple lifestyle. We don't make a lot of money. Mm-hmm. And we're just we're good with that. We're at peace with that.
That's good.
And if we had kids, it would be difficult bringing them up. She is always concerned about our cats.
Yeah.
And their well-being and taking care of them, making sure they have the right food and keeping them healthy. And if she had, kids to do that with, it would drive her nuts. She would be pulling her hair out. So
yeah, and I'm like the completely opposite. I'm like 26, already have 3 kids, and I don't know how much I'm gonna have more of. But
go for the big number.
Yeah, I feel like that's what's gonna end up happening. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure every kid adds 5 years, which I was told. So maybe
takes off.
Yeah, it takes off. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I had a gray hair the other day, and it was kind of I was like, "What is going on here?"
Yeah, I don't have any yet. God, I'm hoping to keep it that way.
But yeah, so you grew up in California, or you were born in, or did you grow up in California?
Yeah, okay. Until 2012.
Wow. Yeah. So you're California. You're a Cali guy.
Southern California.
Southern California. Okay. Oh.
Yeah.
What is okay? What would you say? I've never been to California. I never visited California. The closest I've been to California is Arizona. What would you say is the big difference from Southern California to more up north?
Like the Midwest?
Yeah, like kind of like. Wait, is Southern California? I'm just like, is Southern California right by Hollywood? No, right? That's up.
Southern California, you can think of it as everything from San Diego to Santa Barbara.
Okay.
That's an easy way to think of it.
All right.
And Northern California, you can think of it. San Francisco is actually Central California, but you could think of it as the beginning of Northern California. So Northern California would be, say, the top half is San Francisco, all the way up to Oregon.
Okay, all right. Cause it's fun. It's weird because I think about, like, you think of California and it's so big, and a lot of it's farmland, and then you just go closer to like the actual bay, and then you saw the big cities, right?
Yeah,
is that
farther west you go, the more population there is.
Yeah,
it seems big, but one time I went up to Washington State with a friend of mine, and we drove up to Washington State in 2 days, and we stayed in like Northern California, like there's a little town called Wairika. We stayed in Wairika overnight. Then we went up to his parents' place in Southern Washington. It's a place called Battleground, Washington, and there was never a battle there, so it's kind of a joke. But on the way back, he was staying, and I was going back to San Diego, and I didn't want to pay for another day of the rental car, so I left Southern Washington 6:30 a.m. and drove nonstop. I was trying to get through Oregon without stopping for gas, because in Oregon, there's a law that you have to let the attendant pump your gas, and I didn't want to do that. I wanted to pump my own gas.
Yeah.
I almost made it, had to stop in Oregon for gas. The attendant came out and pumped my gas. But I made it driving from 6:30 a.m. to 11:30 p.m. that night. I arrived in San Diego.
You didn't sleep at all?
No, it was just like a long day.
Wow.
But it seems like a big state, but I drove most of the West Coast in one day.
Nice. I actually have family in California. I just never actually went out there to visit.
You gotta go.
I need to go.
You gotta go.
I don't know if I want to go now, but
well, you could stay at a nice bed and breakfast somewhere.
Yeah. So growing up in California, like, tell me a little bit about your childhood.
It's interesting. I grew up in my hometown is South Pasadena, California, and it's a little like a suburban community. Mm-hmm. It was like a small town. It was nice. There's no graffiti. You can just walk around, in the middle of the night, and it's safe. It's a good environment, and it's 10 minutes away from downtown Los Angeles. Oh, so wow. It goes from urban to suburban in very short. I guess South Pasadena has enough money to have police, enough security there.
Yeah.
and it was really nice. But right, 15 minutes away is
Hold the mic a little closer. Sorry.
Here we go.
There you go.
There I am.
There you go.
15 minutes away is my grandma's house, and she lives in East LA. And we would just like have a 15-minute drive, and you're kind of, you're seeing tagging, you're seeing,
It's like a switch.
Yeah, but these places, they're all right next to each other.
Yeah.
So it was interesting how, and I felt safe there too, because I was at my grandma's house, and we didn't go prowling around the neighborhood. We just like stayed there.
Mm-hmm.
And it was I just grew up feeling pretty safe and loved,
Nice.
so but it's interesting that there's those the flip side of the two different environments,
the two different dynamics.
Exactly.
That's how it is. Like, I grew up in Aurora. On the east side of Aurora, it's a little bit more rougher.
Mm-hmm.
On the west side too, but then it's like you go and then you have like there's Naperville, like, and it's a whole different environment. And I actually went to middle school in Naperville for a bit, and it was just like a whole different environment versus growing up in
very nice.
Yeah. So growing up, like, let's like, were you into sports?
No.
Were you like, you're more of I feel like you're more of like a tech guy, or more reading stuff like that.
And maybe graphics.
Okay.
When I was younger, I would write like creatively about as much as I would do drawing or even like painting, not like oil painting, but
I can see like you would write a book or something. You think?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. So you're more of like writer.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Tech came with when I moved to, before I moved to Illinois, I had a job doing audio visual for a hospital in Los Angeles.
Nice.
And I just fell into that job because a friend of mine was leaving, and he said, "Hey, do you want to, how would you like to move?" I was living in San Diego. "How would you like to move to Los Angeles and, take my job?"
Yeah.
And I was like, of course. I'd love to do audio. Is it hard? Like, oh, yeah, you can figure it out. I was like, okay, why not do that? So that was interesting.
And you had to have a degree to do all that?
No, I hadn't at the time. No, it was just like I had taken some very basic old school courses in the 90s with video. We had like a couple of video courses, but it was pre-digital. It was just these giant 2-inch thick video cassettes that you'd slam into this giant cassette deck.
Crazy.
Yeah, it was not like it was. So basically, I had never done that before, and that's how I fell into that job, just because I knew my friend, suggested it.
That's kind of crazy that like the different dynamic of like back in the 90s and where we are now.
Oh yeah,
the technology has jumped so much.
It's like night and day.
It's like I think about it right now. Like, I'm shooting a podcast, recording it, doing everything.
That would have been impossible to do.
Yeah, and it's like now you can just do
Anybody can do it.
Anybody can do it. You can like record your whole podcast off your phone if you wanted to.
Sure.
So it's wild to think about, and it's kind of crazy how fast things jumped.
Yeah, and you can promote it too.
Yeah.
You just have your phone, your cell phone, you do everything with that.
Yeah. Is that surprising to you? Like, when you were back then thinking about when you were doing visuals, did you ever think like, 10 years from now it's going to be?
No, because at that time I thought that wouldn't be practical.
Yeah.
It would be like graphics or making movies or things like that. It was like, no, our movie camera when we were a kid was this little handheld. It was like 8mm films, like for family vacations, and we would make like little movies with them.
Yeah.
But it was just so simple, and you take the reel to the camera store, and then they'd process it for you or send it out for processing. You'd have this little reel of film, and you put it in a projector.
And you rewatch it.
Yeah, and you'd watch it, and it would be silent.
I don't even know that. I just know that from movies. Yeah. So that's that's crazy to think about it.
It was a reality back then.
I feel like like you said, it was simple, and I feel like it takes away from the joy of actually enjoying certain things.
It was fun. We had a good time with it.
Yeah.
But we never thought and now the world is we can put this on the internet now because there was no internet, and it was silent. We had like little audio cassettes that we would record. Like my brother and I would record like radio plays with a cassette player. Yeah. And that's how we were creative that way. But, we didn't think, and now we're going to email this to so-and-so. There was no email. It was just for us.
Wow.
So so obviously it didn't seem like I was learning to do something creative, to have a career in that, because it was obviously wasn't going to go anywhere other than that room.
Yeah.
Unless I went to film school or something, which seemed totally impractical. It didn't seem like
wow.
I could never do that. Why would people say that's so impractical? That would be such a waste of my life. I'm gonna,
And then now it's like
now everyone's a filmmaker.
Yeah, now everyone has everything and you can shoot a whole. I mean, you can shoot a whole movie off your iPhone now.
Yeah,
or phones in general. And
at that time, it seemed like you didn't kind of just dip into, hey, let's see if I like doing that. Let me take some class in videos and make some videos in school. It was just like a life choice. It's like, okay, if you're gonna wanna,
this is what you're gonna do.
If you're interested in film and you want to pursue that, you're gonna have to burn the ships, because that's what you're going to have to do for years. And if it doesn't work out, then, sorry.
Yeah. And then you have people that jumped onto those scenes early, and now they're probably doing, more. I mean,
or not.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true, because now you have all these different people doing it independently.
Well,
so
back then you couldn't just dip into it and see if you liked it or not. You'd have to make a commitment to that.
Yeah.
And, if it didn't work out, then, you'd have to come up with something else. But it was now taking a class in video or even audio editing or even what I did was like graphic design. It wasn't a big commitment to take a class, but.
So when you growing up in California, you're doing the visual thing. Your friend gets you a job there. You're working there,
right?
And you're in California. How long up to then? Were you doing that, and then you end up finding another job in Illinois? What brought you here to Illinois?
I'd met my wife just a few months before online. She was living in Arizona. Her hometown was Oglesby, which is just a few minutes from where we are now.
Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah.
We met on I remember eHarmony, where they want you to tell your life story so they could find the perfect mate for you.
Yeah.
And they said, what? These other sites are just a picture and a postcard, and that's how you find your mate. That is the website that we went on. Love and Seek. It was. I was at work one day and I was looking on the web. Mm-hmm. And that would have been 2005.
Wow.
And it said, hey, do you want to, see profiles of Christian girls for free? Yeah. And I was like, yeah. And well, if you want to talk to them, then it'll cost you $10 a month. I was like, well, I'm not going to pay. And so I started looking at it and I was like, okay, I'll pay $10. All right, $10. And I think the second week that I was on there, Nicole and I connected. And then 2 weeks, I think a week later or later that week, or within days, we were talking on the phone. 2 weeks later, she came to California for a conference with her church. Mm. And it was in Los Angeles. And I drove up and we went on our first date. Nice. And we just bam, from then on, we were, together. And then a year later, we got married.
Nice. Amazing. That's beautiful.
Yeah. And then a month after we got married, and she'd moved to San Diego, a month later is when my friend said, hey, do you want... And I'd been in San Diego for 9 years putting out resumes and trying to get back to Los Angeles. And my friend said, "Hey, I'm quitting my job. Do you want my job up in LA?" And I said, "Yes, I do." So a month later, we moved to Los Angeles.
Nice. And then you were living out there, and then you end up coming back to Illinois.
Yeah. It turned out it was not.
He was selling you a dream, I feel like, and then you're like, I don't want to do this.
It wasn't quite what I didn't know what to expect, but it was not really what I expected. And Nicole, her living in Los Angeles again was not what she expected. So we were happy together, but we were there were a lot of struggles just with our work life and just the I loved living in LA, but she did not. And so we decided, like, you know what, let's try Illinois. Let's just see what's out there.
Yeah.
I'd always wanted to. One time I applied for a job at Focus on the Family in Colorado, and I was really looking forward to finding out what's going on in America.
Yeah.
This is like this. Where we live is not America. I want to go see what the Americans are doing.
Yeah.
And just like, because I'd never lived anywhere else than Southern California.
Is it true from growing up in California, is it very fast paced, like they say? Like everyone always wants it. Like everyone there wants to be somebody. Everyone's trying to. Did you feel like that or no?
Not really. Not with. I know a lot of people are very. What is the word? Ambitious.
Yeah.
To make it in entertainment.
Yeah.
But I never knew people like that. I didn't know people who were interested in performing arts or really a lot of creative people. So there's that side of it, but I didn't really interact with that side of it. I remember right after I got out of college, I thought, you know what, I think I'm going to go work in the movie industry, because I'd gotten a degree in communications, which I thought would be broad and was safe, because I can do a lot. I'm not going to put myself in a box and just like be able to do like one thing. And unfortunately, it didn't really prepare me to do anything. So, but one thing, I'd had some classes in film. I thought, I'm going to become a production assistant. I'll work. We'll see what it's like working for like a studio. And nice. I started working. I got a job. I'm surprised I even got a job working for a company that made Spanish language McDonald's commercials. That was their main thing.
That's cool.
And even then, it was like the ego, just in this little company, the egos and backbiting, backstabbing.
Wow.
And so that did not last. Wow. So I think I said the wrong thing to one of my my coworker. I guess she was kind of like a supervisor. Anyway, there's it to one boyfriend called her, and I called him by the other name, the other boyfriend's name.
Oh no!
And she said, "You're out of here." So it was like, I don't think I like working in the film industry. These people are mean.
You're like, well, it's not my fault. You're doing something not supposed to.
Exactly.
Like, so what do you want me to do?
Right.
You need to keep your life in check and not bring it here at work.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I should have told her. Yeah, never went back.
Yeah. So through this process, of you're in California, you meet your wife, you get married, you come to Illinois. When did you find Christ in your life? When did you become a believer?
I gotta say, always. It's interesting that a lot of people have the before and after experience of just living for themselves and just trying to get all they can out of life. I was never like that. I don't remember when. I mean, I just felt like I always had faith.
Amazing.
I don't know how old I was when my mom started telling me about the Bible, but I had to act when I was 18. I had to have like a moment where I consciously came to faith, or dedicated my life to Christ, in a mature way.
Right. Yeah.
Because I'd already done it, basically every other Sunday my entire life. Okay, now I'm really going to get serious about Christ, and I'm going to dedicate my life to Christ. And then and then the next week I would still find out that I was a sinner. Like, well, I must have done it wrong. I guess, okay, this time I'm really going to meet it, and I'm never going to do anything bad ever again. I'm going to be just like those people on television. I'm going to have tears of joy all the time. And I'm going to have be just dying to share the gospel with everyone I meet. And it didn't happen. I thought, well, I guess I did it wrong. I guess I better really dedicate my life to Christ this time.
Yeah.
And that went on for 18 years until I really wanted to go to Occidental College in Los Angeles. And it looked like that I'd forgotten to do some paperwork and wasn't going to get the financial aid for it, and therefore wasn't going to go. And I said, well, that was all I wanted to do in life, was to, pursue that, to go to this college. And now I have nothing to do. Well, Lord, my life is a wreck now. Obviously, I've blown it. So if there's anything you can do with this life, then you're welcome to it. But one thing is that I'm not going to continue trying to do better and be perfect, because obviously I can't be perfect. And you're just going to have to accept me for who I am. And that's the deal. If you can't accept me for who I am, imperfect, then this isn't going to work. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, let's see how this works. And that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm just thinking, like, when you were talking right now, I was thinking about the prodigal son. It's like, we don't think about the other son that's kind of always just been with his dad.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
I keep trying to do the right thing, and what's happening?
And then it's like the other son comes, and then he gets upset. Like, oh, what this guy's been spending all your money doing whatever, and then
I've been slogging away.
Yeah, I've been here working with you by your side. I've been faithful.
Yeah.
And I believe that God, it's like, for me too, I'm like, I feel like I'm finally mature in my faith. I feel like I've always been like, oh yeah, I'm a Christian, yeah, I believe in God, and yeah, I go to church sometimes, and yeah, God's always in my heart, and growing up, it's like that, like for like how I was,
sure.
But I think God calls us to surrender everything to Him, and I also believe that we're never going to reach perfection, and it's a daily thing,
Sure,
so,
but it can be so hard to get that into your head that it's okay. It's like you're going to. I think we were in the men's study. We were talking about. It was. I'd been reading in Galatians. Excuse me. And it says we're not saved by the law. Yeah. The law. No one's ever been saved by the law. We're saved by faith.
Yeah.
And that's it. And I had faith all along, but I thought there's got to be, this can't be it. I can't be saved. I don't look like the people on television.
Yeah.
I'm not, going out to evangelize people. Why don't I have a burning inside to go out and evangelize people? Why don't I cry like other people at church when we're singing and get all emotional? Yeah. There must be something wrong with me, because I was looking at other people to be, the model for what I was supposed to be.
Right. And we can get caught up in that.
Oh yeah.
Looking at people like, oh, look, this guy's over here, and I feel the same way. I have a tendency before, not now, but I would see there's certain things that God would tell me to cut off on my life, and I'm like, why are you telling me to do that? This guy's doing it, and he's like a Christian, and
he can get away with it. Why not me?
Why not me?
Yeah.
And it's. But the God, like, we all have. Sometimes we got to realize that we all have our own walk.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
other people are different from you. And just to go back and touch on what you were saying before too, I think a lot of times, like when Christ says, I say unto you, if you tell this mountain to move, it will move. A lot of times we're just climbing the mountain. We're climbing the mountain.
Sure.
He said, have faith and it will move. And we don't put trust and faith in him. We just rather climb the mountain.
Yeah, I can do it.
Yeah.
I got this. This is too much for God.
Yeah. But I think like for me, like I'm 26 and I think that it's just, I don't know. I see God working in me in beautiful ways. And I think over time you just start to realize like, he's
Sure.
like, I've been telling you, he's there.
Yeah.
Like he's always telling you. And it's just like, like you said, we can't just get in our head. We can't fathom, hey, I love you. And it doesn't matter where you are right now.
Right.
Put your faith in me.
Right.
And that's what he's calling all of us to do. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes it takes 18 years.
yeah.
And then even going on further than that to like, okay, I know I'm saved.
Yeah.
Right? I know I'm saved. But then there's these scary things that Jesus says, like, I never, depart from me. I never knew you. But we cast out demons in your name. Like, I've never done that.
Yeah.
But I'm saved. I'm pretty sure I'm saved. Sometimes it takes a long time to, even when you're saved, to feel secure.
Right.
But one thing that I've learned is that God's more than feelings. Feelings are important, but feelings aren't facts.
Amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Put that on a t-shirt.
Absolutely.
No, and it's crazy if you really think about it. It's like, how many times have Christ told the disciples, you have so little faith. You have so little faith.
Mhm.
Even when the storm was coming, they're like, wake up. Like, you don't see this storm? Like, what are you doing? He's like,
Yeah, don't you care?
Yeah, and it's like, be silent. He's like, you guys have little faith. And I think we go back to what we know whenever we feel like God doesn't come through for us.
Yeah.
Or-
What will make me feel better?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's like you said, it's we base it on what we feel. And a lot of times, and it also says that the heart is deceiving.
Sure.
So it's like, I know what I feel, but sometimes what I feel is not correct.
It's not a fact.
Yeah. So it's like, but yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where you kind of, like you said, you have to grow and you have to go through things and realize. And like for me, I had the opposite effect. Like I've kind of just was doing whatever, and then it was like a time in my life where I was like, I think it's when I lost my dad and then I had my son, and I was like, okay, I need to change my life around. I need to do something.
Sure.
But even then, I wasn't even really doing it. I was just like, I'm going to do this because this is the thing to do. Like, once you have a son and and that happened with my dad and everything,
Right.
I was like, I need to start just going to church, and Allison was the one who was telling me, hey, let's go to church.
Sure.
But I was like, all right, it's a good thing to do. I'm going to just do it.
It seems like the thing to do.
Yeah.
it's other people do it. It seems like a positive thing.
Yeah.
It's at least as positive as reading a self-help book.
Yeah. And then and then now it's like, even then I wasn't how I am now. I didn't fully surrender to God. I didn't
Right.
feel like the presence of God and actually know. I didn't have maturity, like you were saying.
And with maturity comes security.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Everything you're saying, I want to put on a t-shirt. I don't know.
Maybe I better. Yeah. Get to
I'm going to start putting notes.
Redbubble.
Yeah, I'm going to just start putting, okay, let's put that down.
I'll design it.
There you go. You have the background in design. So,
Now I do.
yeah.
Jeepers.
So right now, what do you do for work right now? What do you
Right now I'm doing graphic design and digital modeling,
nice.
which I did not see coming.
Yeah.
And again, I can send out all these resumes, all day, every day.
Yeah.
And it's always something like, in this case, it was my sister-in-law said, hey, why don't you send a resume to this place in Princeton?
Mm.
They're looking for graphic designers. And I said, oh, okay, why not? Just like, it's like, why don't you throw the net on the other side of the ship? Like, why not? Okay, why not? And it was just, then immediately I got an interview and went in and got the job, and I've been there 3 years. But, I didn't see that one coming at all.
Yeah.
Just like I didn't see the job in audiovisual coming at all.
Yeah.
It was just like it seems to fall in my lap, and I seem to be able to trust the Lord, or I know I can trust the Lord for whatever that next job is going to be. That's been the drill. Before that, or before COVID, I just graduated from graphic design school. I studied graphic design and video at first it started. Okay, let me back up a little. Okay, so we moved to Illinois, and I started job hunting. Nicole found a job immediately. Thank God. And the same thing happened when she moved to Los Angeles. She found a job immediately. And I was struggling. I was just job hunting, looking here, looking there, and it wasn't happening. Yeah. So after 6 months, I thought, you know what? Maybe, there's just not a lot of video, and audiovisual jobs out in the farm country in Oglesby, Illinois. That Starved Rock is not looking for a video tech.
Yeah.
And so I thought, well, I'll take some classes at Illinois Valley Community College just to help, maybe they don't have any video classes. I'll just see, well, they have graphic design classes. Let's see, what that would help with my video, just having graphics in them. And immediately I discovered this, I want to do this. This is like, I always wanted to do that. I just didn't know what it was called or that people could actually do it.
Yeah.
I remember I would do graphic designs when I was, younger, but I didn't know I was, putting words and images together.
Yeah.
And I didn't know people did that for a living. I didn't know where magazine ads came from. I didn't know that. I didn't connect the two somehow.
Yeah.
And I really wish I had when I was younger, but apparently that wasn't the plan the Lord had for me. I don't know why, but would have been nice. So I went from Illinois Valley Community College to Illinois Central College, and I was working on an associate's degree in graphic design and video. And I'd already gotten 2 degrees, one in communications from University of California in San Diego. And then I went back to school. It's a long story, and got a degree in English from Occidental College, where I'd started before I went to UC San Diego.
Yeah.
And got a degree in English and comparative lit. Oh, and neither of these degrees provided me with a career somehow. So I was working on my associate's degree in graphic design at Illinois Central College in Peoria, East Peoria. And my instructor said, now, he was telling the class, if you want to work professionally in graphic design, it's going to require a 4-year degree. And I just slapped my forehead and said, I don't want another BA. I don't want another degree. I just want to take these classes and learn how to do it.
And just, get a job.
Right. But if you want to have a good job in graphic design, you're going to need a 4-year degree. So I finished my AA, transferred to Illinois State in Bloomington, went for another year and a half, I think, and graduated with a degree in graphic design and video.
It's kind of funny how God works.
It's interesting because
it's funny you're talking about college and everything. I actually just got accepted to Moody.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
That's going to be quite a commute.
Yeah. Well,
from Ottawa.
I'm actually doing everything online.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm
That's the way of the world now. That's the new method.
That's the beautiful thing about technology.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not. Everything's changing.
Yeah. But I got accepted, and I'm.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
That's remarkable.
I'm doing trying to get my associates in biblical studies.
Okay.
And my goal, what I feel God is calling me to do is preach. So
that's interesting.
I want to try to be a youth preacher.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're gonna be great.
Thanks, I appreciate that.
You're in the future. You're already a success.
Thank you.
I was always dreading that I was going to be called to preach.
Oh, really?
That's probably what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm probably supposed to be a minister, and I don't want like Jonah is like he's going to have to put me in a fish to get me to do that.
I felt the same way. I was going back and forth with Alice, and I'm like, I feel like I'm not adequate enough to do this. I don't think I can do this.
Yeah.
I have a lot going on. I'm like, I don't think that I'm the right fit. But it's just weird, like, but no one's ever adequate enough.
Mm-hmm.
God uses you if you want him to or not.
Exactly.
So it's like
I was listening to your episode with Manny Rivera.
Oh yeah,
that was he did not want to.
Yeah.
He was not interested. He did not have the burning inside to be a minister.
He has a crazy story. That was my old pastor. Shout out to Manny.
Sure.
But yeah, and it's. I mean, I don't know if you were there Sunday. I went up and I read the scripture. I think you probably, I don't know if you were there or not, but I went up on stage and I read the scripture. It was like 2 weeks ago. And I was just nervous. I was so nervous. And then like, I was like stuttering and I'm just like, and I told Allison, I'm like, I don't know if I can do this. And I'm like, do you think I'll get past that? Do you think it's going to take me a while to get past the whole like getting nervous on stage?
You're going to have Aaron, your brother, speak for you to Pharaoh.
Yeah, honestly. And then she's like, yeah, it's going to take you a while. And I'm like, oh, thank you for the support.
Thanks
appreciate that.
Backing me up. Yeah.
But it's a beautiful thing. I told Allison, like, for once in my life, I feel like I'm doing the will of like what God wants me, like the will of my Father. I feel like I'm doing. Yeah, I really feel like I'm doing what God's called me to do, and it's scary because I'm not the most smartest guy. I was not really good at reading, writing. I grew up in the east side of the world, like lower income.
Okay.
And, like I didn't really take school serious. I'm not really the smartest. So it's like for me, I'm just like, I feel like Moses right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like I'm gonna go to college. I did like a year of college, and they said that like I scored so low that I had to basically redo basic
remedial.
Like, yeah, just like to even get back.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Thanks for the support.
So, and now like I'm going to college, and I'm going to Moody, and I'm like, I don't even know if I can do this, but I'm going to try.
When I went my first year of college, I had to quit after a year because I was doing so badly.
Mm.
And I was, at my first year, I was a history major. But apart from that, there was all these general ed classes that I was trying to take.
Yeah.
And I just, somehow I got the grades necessary to get into Occidental College in Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
But I did not have the skills to excel there. I couldn't even. And it was crushing. It was this is what I wanted to do. This is what I was so hung up about when I didn't get the financial aid. Then it turned out my mom went and talked to them the next day, of course, and it all worked out because moms work things out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just didn't have the skills at that time. Now I think, I went back again. Like I said, I went to UC San Diego, got a degree, and then it said, you know what? I want to get my degree from Occidental College, and I'm going back. And so I went back, and just through, I became an English major because I always loved writing.
Yeah.
And I was kind of struggling because I didn't know how to write a paper. And then I got an A on this one paper in a Shakespeare class.
Nice.
So I took that paper and I just made that my outline. And I just, every time I got a new paper, I would just plug in different names of subjects, plot, whatever.
Yeah.
And I would just rewrite the same paper over and over again.
Wow.
And honestly, no one had ever told me how to write it. I mean, maybe they had in high school, but I never understood how to write a paper, which is you just make your argument, state, this is what I'm going to argue. This is my premise. This is vanilla ice cream is better than chocolate ice cream.
Oh, well, not.
I'm going to make 3 points.
Yeah.
It's good, better because it's cheaper. It's light. You can see it in the dark, and because it tastes better.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to explain to you what I just said. By these facts, I have just proven to you that vanilla ice cream is better than chocolate ice cream.
You're gonna make some people upset out there.
Yes,
Yeah.
but they'll know how to write a paper.
There you go.
And that it's so simple.
Yeah.
And I never knew that. And I think if you can just find out what is the key, what is the basic building block of succeeding academically,
Yeah.
that it becomes easier. And go to see tutors, even if you're not having trouble. See
Yeah.
tutors anyway, just to talk about the subject matter
Yeah.
for fun.
I know who I'm gonna call now.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna call you.
I'm there. I'm there for you 24/7.
No, but yeah, no, it's a beautiful thing, and your encouragement is great, and I appreciate it because I need it.
You're welcome, brother.
And I'm just I'm excited, but I am also nervous. But I think that it's one of those things.
It's the unknown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I've been doing better, trying to read more. Me and Allison have been reading to try to work on my reading and stuff like that. Do you know a author named Blake Crouch?
No.
You ever heard of the book Dark Matter?
I think I have. Is it a science fiction book?
It's like thriller, like science fiction book kind of.
I think my brother read that and
so
told me
good.
about it.
I didn't read it, but I listened to the audiobook.
Okay.
But it's amazing. But we just got this book and we're gonna start reading it together, and
People learn in different ways.
Yeah.
Also, I learn from watching videos.
Yeah, me
So,
too.
I have all these graphic design books, and I'd never open them.
Yeah.
And if I want to learn something, I just go on YouTube and find it that way.
Oh, yes.
When I was in school, the best way I could learn was I would take the notes that I wrote in class that day, and then I would retype them. And for some reason, typing them in a typewriter.
Oh, and the actual, wow.
Right.
Yeah.
We didn't have computers in school back then.
Sorry.
It was, for some reason that worked. So if, just try different things, try listening, try, whatever works.
Yeah. Soak everything up like a sponge.
Just try whatever learning technique works for you.
Yeah. I'm a hands-on guy. Like I do construction now. I've always did laborist work. So this is like out of my norm, but yeah. But I think it'll be fine. I think I need to have faith and not try to climb the mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was gonna ask you, what is one thing you would tell your younger self?
If I could go back and get my attention.
Yeah.
I would say to try to relax. I would tell myself, just because all your friends are taking AP chemistry doesn't mean that you have to take AP chemistry. You could just go take regular chemistry. You're not science oriented.
Yeah.
Just relax. Life is short. You don't have to go through AP chemistry. Relax. I would say you don't have to find, you don't have to meet your wife and start dating her when you're in junior high. You can relax. Just socialize with people, but you don't have to tear your heart out because you're not marrying someone in junior high. You can just enjoy life. You're not going to meet your wife until you're 35 anyway. So just look for other things to do.
Yeah.
It's okay.
But also stay away from sin.
Stay away from,
Yeah.
stay away from sin. And just try to go with what seems natural. Don't try and pound if you're square, you don't try and pound yourself into a round hole.
Yeah.
If you are interested in, graphics and images, then just, take some classes, even if there's no, even if it doesn't make sense at the time, like, well, I can't do this for a living.
Yeah.
If I had gone to a college called Arts Center in Pasadena when I was 18, I could have maybe started doing graphic design back then.
Yeah.
Rather than having to wait until I was in my 40s to discover, like, hey, this is great. I can do this. I like this. I didn't know you could do this.
Yeah.
But the Lord takes you on whatever path he needs to take you to make you the person that he wants you to be. So
Amen.
Ultimately, you can't really tell yourself anything.
Yeah.
When you can wish that you could go back and
change things, but
but the Lord already knew ahead of time that you're going to have to go through jump through all these hoops to become the person that you need to be at the right time.
Yeah.
Amazing. It would be nice though to go and
to go back in time and just switch things up. And,
it seems like, but I'm not God, so
yeah, that's true. We can only control what we can control, and we can only do what the Lord wants us to do.
But I wish I had been whatever I was doing. I wish I had been more relaxed.
Yeah. It's like go when you're young. You want to do this. You want to do that.
You don't want to make a mistake. You don't want to blow it.
Yeah.
And if you have faith, then you're not going to blow it because you're going to be trusting in the Lord rather than in your own decisions that you make.
Yeah. Amen.
Yeah.
John, it was a pleasure.
Angel,
it was amazing to have you on, and I appreciate it.
Wonderful to be here.
And we're definitely going to have to do this again.
Oh, of course. I have so much more to say.
No, but yeah, I appreciate you taking the time, and
Sure.
it was a pleasure to have you on, man. Thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Good to know. You're welcome.
All right, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.
Oi, what you doing? You just got... Okay, let me stop playing. What's up? It's the kid. You just got done watching an LS production.